Hey guys, I'm back and I wanted to pick up where I left off with all my updates. So back to my handy dandy notes here. Okay, so the last time I left you was 15 weeks and we found out that we're having a girl. So the next couple weeks basically are the same thing. So I'm going to kind of run through it a little bit quickly. 16 weeks, nothing really changed, still sick, not feeling good, tired, etc. 17 weeks, I started getting really sick again. My vomiting had kind of tapered a little bit and I thought, okay, this is the beginning of the end. I was wrong. I started throwing up a lot. I had an OB appointment and my doctor took me off work from I think like a Wednesday to like the following Monday just because I wasn't feeling good at all. I was throwing up and I'd had some spotting and because of the placenta previa that they told me that I had, he just wanted me to get off my feet until I could see the MFM for my anatomy scan at 20 weeks. So I was off work for a couple of days, no big deal, just kind of rested and basically just lounged around, binged on Netflix, that kind of thing. 18 weeks, I was back to puking a lot again, but I don't have the nausea. I just throw up. And it got to the point where I think I threw up like 6 or 7 times in an hour, and once again had a lovely trip back to the ER. The trip back to the ER was the same thing, IV fluids, they checked the baby, basically just to get me rehydrated again. And it's weird that the ER visits and the constant throwing up, it kind of gets better and then comes back with a vengeance, and it is seemingly like every 4 weeks or so. I asked my doctor about it and he said it could be just a growth spurt of the baby or a rise in hormones that my body basically just can't handle. Lovely, right? 19 weeks is when I really started noticing I was having trouble sleeping at night. Like I can't get comfortable, and I didn't really think this would happen to me so fast because I'm a bigger person as it is, so I'm not, you know, someone who's 100 pounds and kind of has this shock of this belly. Like I've kind of had a belly for years, so I didn't really think that that was gonna affect me as fast as it did. But yeah, I cannot get comfortable whatsoever. 20 weeks, I had my anatomy scan at the MFM office. In the morning I had my OB appointment. That was kind of just regular, the usual, the Doppler symptoms, that kind of thing. And then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my husband and I went to the MFM for the anatomy scan. Now this MFM is, if you Google his name, there's not one person who has anything bad to say about him. However, there was one comment that was not, you know, just praising him, you know, in all his glory. And that person said he doesn't like overweight moms. And I was like, super, I can't wait. So we go in, we talk to the nurse, kind of just do the usual. She does a few scans, and then I'd asked her, I didn't tell them that we already found out the gender. So I asked her what she thought, and she goes, "You just want me to say it?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I think it's a girl." And I'm like, "Okay." So she left to go get the doctor, and my husband's like, "Were we not supposed to do that? Are we not allowed?" I'm like, "No, I just wanted their unbiased opinion, like we didn't know." So the doctor comes in. He was a lot older than I expected. Like a lot older. Like he was probably in his 70s, maybe. Nicest guy, but a lot older than I was expecting. And I would say probably 4 or 5 times during the appointment he made comments on my weight. And he said, "Well, I've had moms that were 600 pounds before and you're not quite there." Yeah, I'm definitely not quite 600 pounds. Thank goodness for that. He wasn't being mean about it, but he definitely brought up my weight several times. like several times. And he even said, if you want to come back at 28 weeks, he's like, I can get a better look because the baby will be bigger and I don't have to, I don't know how he worded it, but basically he didn't have to go through so many layers of my fat is what he meant, which it is what it is. He also confirmed that baby was a girl. So that made me feel a lot better that she didn't magically grow a little wiener there, because we definitely have to be taking some things back. So one of the things that he did is he looked at my placenta. He said it was 1.7 centimeters for my cervix, and he wanted my OB to monitor it every 2 weeks. Because I said in a previous video, placenta previa is where the placenta is too low, which can cause issues. It can cause like hemorrhaging, bleeding if it gets too low. However, most of the time they move up as your stomach gets bigger. So he looked at that. He said, the reason that he wants him to monitor my cervical length, it was 4.2, I believe is what he said. But the reason that he wants to have the OB monitor it is because that can change very quickly. And I had surgery on my uterus to remove a septum less than a year ago. So he just kind of wanted the OB to keep an eye on that. So that's 20 weeks. So I called the next day and talked to my OB about the report. And I had had some additional throwing up. I had had some spotting. Basically, I was a nervous wreck about this placenta issue. And so I talked to my regular OB and his nurse, and we decided that it would be best to take me off my feet from work until we could verify that the placenta was no longer like in the danger zone. I know I've mentioned this before, but for work, I drive around all day. So I have an area, basically it's like a big circle. So I live here, and then I have a big circle on both sides of customers that I deal with. So at my furthest point, I'm like an hour and a half away from my house, which is an hour and a half away from my hospital and my doctor. And I just did not feel comfortable with it, being that so far away, already having bleeding issues. I'd also previously felt like a lot of pressure and just stuff like that. And on top of that, I'm a first-time mom, so I don't really know what I'm doing. You know, I don't know, is this feeling normal or not? Is this bad? Or I just don't know. So, so he took me off work. So I've been off work from the day of the MFM appointment until now. Today's February 11th, and my next appointment will be February 16th, so next Tuesday. And I should be okay to go back to work the 17th. So, let me grab my other paper here. Okay, so basically 21 weeks, the throwing up is hit or miss. I'll go a couple days, I won't throw up at all. Then the next day I'll dry heave. Then the next day I'll just puke and puke and puke. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. Since I've been home, I try really hard not to take the Zofran because I'm at home, so if I puke, I puke. But I have taken it most days. It just makes life a lot easier, to be honest. 21 weeks and 5 days, I think, I was watching TV and I absolutely felt the baby move. And at first, I'd kind of had some bubbles here and there, and I'm like, I don't really know, because I don't know what I'm supposed to be feeling. No, she definitely moved. So I felt her for a couple of days. Usually it's around like 8:30 at night. And I mostly feel her on the bottom, way down low on the left. I don't feel anything on my right. And I've said before, I have an anterior placenta, so that's probably why it's taken this long to kind of feel everything. So I went through a couple of days of that. And then at 22 weeks, I I had, TMI alert, I had a lot of snotty discharge with like pink in it. And my doctor had said before, that's normal, you know, the cervix is vascular, it's normal. If you're bleeding, call me. So I didn't call, it wasn't bleeding, it was more of like a spot, like spotting. So a few days later, it was at night, and I had the most excruciating pain all like down my left side, from like right underneath my ribs all the way down to like my pelvic bone. And it was so bad that I really contemplated waking my husband up to take me to the ER. Like, I wanted like narcotic drugs. It hurt so bad. So the next day, I didn't go to the ER. The next day I called my doctor, talked to his nurse, and I was like, is this normal? Whatever. Well, they know that I just live in town. So she's like, can you be here in like 15 minutes? Let's just check. So I said, okay. They checked my cervical length, which was 3.2, I think. 3.2. I think that's what he said. He looked at my cervix. He said that it was closed. He looked at the baby, and she is butt down breech. So on the left, what I'm most likely feeling is her feet. And I can feel like behind my belly button a little bit, like little, like, I don't even know, like bloop, bloop, like she's turning maybe or something. Feel that every once in a while. But he checked on her, checked, you know, all of my stuff, and she was fine. So he said that it's just my uterus stretching. And I said, okay, well, just to clarify, what you're saying is that my uterus stretching can be so bad, like I want narcotic drugs. That's how bad it can hurt. And he said, yes. So I'm going to go with that. Okay, my last clip stopped moving, so I guess we'll just go on from here. So the doctor said that everything was fine. Today I am 23 weeks and 3 days. Yeah, 23 weeks and 3 days. So only a few more days till viability. Yay! This morning I threw up for quite a while. But other than that, I kind of have a little bit of a sinus cold, but other than that, I'm feeling okay. My sciatica has been bothering me on and off. I haven't really mentioned it just because sciatica is something a lot of pregnant people get. And also I had back issues a couple summers ago. And I ended up having like epidural blocks and instead of back surgery kind of thing. So I have sciatica pain 98% of the year anyway. There's days where it gets worse, but just trying to manage it as best as I can. My brother-in-law is a physical therapist, and he actually, previous to me being pregnant, gave me some really good exercises, and the one that really actually does help involves laying on your stomach. So that's not able to be done at this point. But that's basically it. Oh, her name. I feel like when I do these videos, I'm seriously like all over the place. Like I think about what I want to say, but it never comes out like that. So I apologize if I'm being crazy. So sorry for that shot there. Okay, so my best friend sent me a care package. My best friend lives in Kansas. My best friend, she sent me this care package, and she's very crafty. And so we decided on the baby's name, and I'm just going to cover up our last name. Don't want to really put that out there. But the baby's name is going to be Emmeline Ruth. I really hope this isn't backwards in the video, but it's Emmeline Ruth. And how we decided on that was my husband really liked Emma, and Emma has been like in the top 3 names for like the last 10 years. So I really liked Emmeline. It was between Emmeline, Emerson, and I liked Amelia. And my husband said no because people would make fun of her and call her Amelia Bedelia. So we decided on Emmeline, and the reason that we decided to spell it like that instead of Emma Lynn is so that people didn't call her with two names, Emma Lynn, like Sarah Beth. We wanted one word, Emmeline. And Ruth is her middle name, and Ruth is after both of my grandmothers. Both of my grandmothers' middle names were Ruth, and they both passed away fairly recently ago. So yeah, that's her name. And again, sorry I'm all over the place, jeez. But we're caught up now. We'll be 24 weeks on Monday. And I'm also going to try to do a little mini nursery tour. I know a lot of people online don't like to do it until it's done, but it could be a while before it's completely done. So I'm going to try to put that together and kind of just show you what we have. And if anybody has any ideas, feel free to let me know. Alright, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Bye.